This video is to add another commandment that I forgot to add in, well, not forgot actually, I didn't think about it at that moment. Now I would add it. So this commandment, I add it because, not because if it was some little commandment, then I wouldn't make this video, but it's actually very important. He says in John 13, he says, "A new commandment I give you, that you love each other." Um, and he says that by this everyone would know you, that you are my disciples. So notice he says each other. So it's like it's about how your attitude towards other people that are also um, his disciples. Um, and now I think we need to read it in context of some other verses. Like he says in Matthew 12, verse 50, he says, "For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brothers and sisters." And he does that after he points to the people around him, which were like his disciples and maybe few other people, but he's basically people that are like followers of his. And then it's like how to say, there is, so it's like the people of God, or which is the same as his disciples, are like meant to love each other. And this is like, I would quote also from Matthew 25, something that make it that he relates and make it clear that it's actually a lot more important than someone might think. He says in Matthew 25, verse 31, he says, "When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nation will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people from one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared from you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me.' Then the righteous will answer him, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needed clothing and just a moment and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?' The king will reply, 'Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.' Then he will say," so first of all, notice he says, people maybe don't notice it so much, that he says, brothers and sisters of mine. And I quoted now in Matthew 12 that he is like saying that who he calls brothers and sisters is who does the will of his Father. Yeah. So it's not like uh, about how you treat everyone in the world, but actually he cares, what he really cares about, at least in this case. He says in other places about treating everyone well, but he says like in the judgment day what he would actually the most would, at least in how he phrases it in this case, Um, but I think maybe it's also in other places kind of like this, that what he cares about the most actually is how you treat his people, which makes sense, right? So it's like, um, so so this is kind of the same as the commandment he gives in John of, for by everybody would know you by how you treat each other. So it's like he's saying also in the judgment that you would send people to life or death. Um, I say life of death. He said like eternal life or eternal punishment. But if the wicked, like, or let's say not righteous, they don't get eternal life, then that means they have to be dead if they are not alive, right? So the eternal punishment means actually to be dead permanently. Um, so anyway, but like my point is that about the attitude, like so he says like what he actually would the most matter, like in who is sent in to life for death, is how you treat not everybody but other people that are like his people, which is the same as God's people. Like he and God is like, it's together. Is like he is a king under God that does, that he tries to do exactly the will of God. So it's like it's the same basically. So it's like. And then he says, like, after he says that thing, then he was say to them on the left, the king would reply, truly I tell you, whatever. Okay, I read this. Then he would say to those on his left, depart from me, you who are cursed, into eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. But he says eternal fire, but it's imagery. It's you can see by the logic I use that it actually means like to be permanently dead, like, and the fire is just like as if the soul is permanently destroyed or something like that. The devil and his angels, I believe it means like the desire to do evil and the things that are kind of as if work for the desire to do evil would be eliminated. You who are cursed into eternal fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. Okay, then he kind of repeats. It's quite long. He repeats all of this the same thing, but on the reverse side of like you to the ones that he sends to. He repeats it like positively to the ones that did like his will, and to the ones that didn't in a negative form. You can read it later in Matthew 25. But the point is like that he judges people like to who doesn't who would treat his people bad, he would send to death, and who would treat his people like well. Uh, it's like the same as you did it to him, which is the same as you did it to God. And then it's like yeah, so that if you this should be read together with John, with what I read of John, that he calls a new commandment I give you. And the thing with the brothers and sister, it's not just by the way in Matthew. There is also it in Luke and Mark and maybe some other places. He repeated several times that when he said in several places, he says your brother, all kind of stuff like your brother, this and that. He means like someone that is also his follower, kind of, or something like that. So this. Yeah, these people really need to take that into account. It's not it doesn't help if someone is you know does even all kind of nice stuff in the world, but then he uh, when it comes to people that are like God's people, he treats them like he doesn't know them and doesn't want anything to do with them, and maybe has bad attitude and towards them, then it won't help them how much he's religious or and how much he's like whatever he did maybe even good. It doesn't. It's not like what God cares about. He cares about how you treat him and how you treat his people. And also he wants you like to treat everybody well, but is that's like that's that's like a part of his plan, that because you so people that are still not uh, don't understand enough would understand that he and his people are like good intentioned or something like that. It's not like what he actually the most care about, in the sense of the what he would care about in the final judgment is like you should also do that because it's a part of his commandments, and but it's like what he would most care about is actually like it's how you treat him, how you treat uh, his people in the world, and also to some seems like to some extent well, anyway, I won't continue like this, but so you get like also the other people, okay, but like this it's at least in this paragraph he doesn't even mention like everyone else. um so or passage maybe is more, how do you call it? So anyway, then like so that's it.